What's up, Hyperfast Nation? On this episode of the show, I sat down with a dynamic couple. They've have decades of experience as real estate agents, brokers, investors, and builders, and they just launched a 10-episode season of a reality show showing all of the amazing things they do for their clients in renovations or building new homes. It's called Renovation Rekindle. Welcome to the show, Paul and Susan Kadilak. Susan and Paul, welcome to the show. How are you guys doing today?
Great. Thanks for how you doing.
Very good. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you guys on, talk about the show, what you're doing with flipping homes. But before we jump into all that kind of stuff, why don't you give the viewers and listeners out there a little bit of your background and how you got to where you are today?
Sure. Yep. So I'm Susan Kadilak. This is my husband, Paul.
How you doing?
So I have been in the real estate and building space pretty much my whole life. Got my real estate license when I was 20. Built my first spec home when I was 23. We also have a construction company where we do projects for clients. So pretty much all things around home is what we're involved in.
What part did you like better, the agent side or the, we'll call it builder / investor side?
I mean, I think
It's like picking your favorite child.
right.
Right? You can't do that. You can't be like, this one's my favorite. They all tie together, I think, is
Yeah.
what it is. I'm also a firefighter and I'm an EMT, and they go hand in hand, but they are separate, businesses, so to speak, right? So it's like the real estate, construction, like all that stuff is married together, but a lot of times people just focus on that one. But I think we've kind of encompassed all of those to be kind of a one-stop shop for clients, whether they want to sell, buy, build, design, the whole package, because people get overwhelmed. Real estate's a very emotional process, as we know,
Very.
Right. It's very therapeutic. You have to have a lot of therapy sessions with people because, it's something exciting for them, but scary at the same time.
What have been the challenges? Because they're all like different skill sets, just like the firefighter EMT analogy, buying an investment property, building it, selling it at the end of it. That's all various skill sets that are separate from, the client side and helping someone pick out a home. So
Totally, yeah.
how have you managed all of those kind of wildly different, activities?
Yeah, so I grew up with my grandfather was a builder, my dad was a builder, so I kind of grew up with that kind of in my background. And I just kind of, when I jumped into real estate, I jumped on the retail side, so I was working with clients. So I don't know, I just kind of think back and I just kind of jumped in with 2 feet. I already had a lot of construction background and experience, and that was pretty familiar to me. So then getting in and learning the real estate side, like Paul said, a lot of times it goes hand in hand. We might have a client who says, I don't know if I want to move or if I want to renovate, or, we're talking to a construction client, is this house going to give you a return on investment? Are you over investing in your home? So, looking at it from that perspective, or, on the flip side, if we're out looking at homes with clients, and, we notice maintenance issues or, things that may need to be addressed, having that construction background also helps us, with advising clients in that way. And then I think just as an agent, you're in a unique position watching the market where you're able to see and recognize when there is an opportunity to buy something and renovate it and flip it, or rebuild it. We do a lot of rebuilds, so just kind of using all of those skills together when you're dealing, whether you're dealing with a client or whether you're dealing with an investment, taking all of that into consideration. And I think knowing, the retail real estate side comes in handy when you are doing a flip or doing an investment, because you have a better handle on the market and what people are looking for. So I think they all kind of work together.
How did you get to the point where you were able to have the show? Tell us a little bit about the show, how you got it, what you do on it.
Sure. Yeah. So the show is a home renovation show, and we just finished up season 1. So we did 10 episodes of full projects front to back. So each episode is a project from start to finish, and of the 10 episodes, 2 are homes that we purchased to knock down and rebuild. Those were investments, and 8 were client projects. So the show actually came from a lot of the marketing that we do on the consumer-facing side. So I had a mentor, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I was on the phone with her, and Paul liked to crash our calls.
I like to let loose sometimes. Being a firefighter, we see a lot of crazy things. So, you got to take life. You got to have some fun in life, too. And remember that at the end of the day, nobody's dying. It's real estate, construction, things can get fixed. So I think that comes in handy when we do talk to clients and people that are having those panic moments, so to speak. But the fun, that's where I come in. I put the FU in fun.
You call Paul the CFO. He's the chief fun officer. He's a little mellow today.
Just getting warmed up. So just trying to be polite. That's all.
So she just kind of said, you need to put him on video. And I said, well, I don't know what kind of video are we going to do? What are we going to put on video? So long story short, she kind of insisted that we need to start doing video. And I said, well, I don't want to put out terrible videos for the real estate company. Why don't we practice on the construction company? So we started putting out videos on a regular basis. And it really, pretty much right away, we saw an impact on the business. We saw, more clients coming to us. It increased our business, and the construction company just kind of took off. And from putting those videos out, we had producers reach out to us about doing a show. We had at one point come very close to doing something with HGTV, and in the end, we decided against it because there were a lot of things that we didn't like about the agreement that we would have had to sign. So ultimately, the producer that we're working with right now, he's one of the producers that we met through this process, and he's the one who's running the show right now, and he's done things like Cry for the Straight Guy and Swab Stories, and he's got a lot of experience. So he's the one that we're working with right now.
So does that mean your show, like it was independently produced? You guys financed it or distributing it? Still get to own 100% of the rights?
Exactly. Yeah. So ultimately, we decided to go independent because, without getting into the details, I'll just say that they wanted a lot from us, and they wanted a lot from our business, and we, ultimately decided that wasn't a way we wanted to go, and we also wanted to make sure that we could still, because we were putting out videos and because we were speaking directly to our clients, and because of doing all this, we didn't want our business and our company to be presented in a way that wasn't consistent with what we had already been putting out. We didn't want it to feel inauthentic.
Right. I think that's the bigger piece, is that when we started doing the videos, we're not actors. We're being ourselves. Like, hey, this is the house, so
right.
forth. And, the authenticity, I think, is what, we never wanted someone to watch them and meet us and go, oh, that's not them. If someone met us, we want to be like, oh, they're exactly like they are in the videos, because that authenticity, putting that out there, reaching that kind of avatar client, so to speak, we're weeding out a lot of people that wouldn't normally hire us or look
Paul
for us.
will run through showers fully clothed. He will.
It's true.
He will sit on a bidet with his pants on.
Also true.
And test the aim, and so people know when they call us that there's probably a good chance that there's going to be a video of Paul doing something crazy in their house.
There's some shenanigans, but it's just to loosen up a little bit. Have some fun.
But they sign up for that, and they see that, they're like, okay, I'm gonna sign up for that.
I mean, buying a home in general is a stressful process for people. So it's it should be an amazing process for them. It should be a fun process for them, right? It's everybody has a dream to own a house, so we do want to make that as stress-free for them as possible and let them enjoy that piece, because it's a milestone for people to actually be able to purchase a home or find what's the American dream. So it's they should have fun. It's so exciting and so scary at the same time.
And if they're not having fun, Paul will have fun for them.
What's the average range of the time it takes each show? Because I assume if you're doing some ground up, new construction, it's probably at least a year on some of these, start to finish.
Yeah. So pre-COVID,
it was
a lot faster.
Yeah.
It was, 6 to 8 months, but post-COVID, it's it's a lot longer. So that's why the projects are a variety. There's some that are just a kitchen renovation, or for season 2 we have a basement that we did that's really cool. We did a rock climbing wall, and it was just a kid zone. But yeah, some of them are ground up, and with supply chain and everything else, they've been taking a lot longer than they used to.
Hey, hold that thought. Do you want to get 100 tips for free from my best-selling real estate book, The Hyperlocal Hyperfast Real Estate Agent? If you do, go to hyperfasttips.com and you can download 100 of my best tips today. Again, that's hyperfasttips.com. You can download 100 tips on how to grow your business, get more clients, deliver more value to more people. Go to hyperfasttips.com.
What about in terms of the extra effort it takes to do a reality show? Because I think so many other people in real estate have amazing stories to tell, but they just don't want to invest the extra time like you guys have done, right? In the home selling process, the home building process, renovation, whatever it might be. How much extra kind of time, energy, and effort has it taken you to make the show?
So 2 weeks roughly. We do work pretty quick.
Yeah,
a couple weeks. Yeah.
No big deal. Luckily, so before the show, we were already filming for social media anyway, so we already had that kind of in, we were doing that a little bit. Obviously, with the show, it increased quite a bit, especially at the beginning when they were trying to figure out, the format of the show and figure out what it could look like. But now it's because they have the format down, it's a lot more precise. They know what they need to film. So it's definitely a lot. I mean, we're filming probably 1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't just affect our schedule. You got guys that are on the jobs. You got clients you're dealing with. So it's
Right.
a domino effect of really paying attention. It's there's just a lot more bees to the hive, so to speak, right? So we're trying to just make sure everybody's getting the honey to keep moving and keep going and making that hive, right?
Yeah.
So
today, one of our guys texted us and said, "Hey, we need to know what portions of this house we're filming so that I can, so I can hold those aside, and then, they'll continue." So it doesn't really slow down, the guys as much. They keep going. We let everybody know ahead of time what pieces are going in, and try to plan that out as best we can. But it's definitely more work. There are some days where we'll film all day and we'll say, okay, we're going to go to work now because
right, the work day starts at 6 at night,
right,
7
sometimes.
at night.
But it's definitely some extra effort and time.
Where can people watch or listen to the show?
So the show is called Renovation Rekindle. Paul actually named the show.
Yes, well, a lot of people call, when they're trying to figure out what they want to do with their home, whether sell, buy, remodel, so being able to encompass all those things under one umbrella for us is very convenient. So as we were thinking about the show development, Susan and I don't go out a lot because we love our house. So I said, that's kind of what people always want. They look at houses for a very short period of time, then be like, we'll take it and buy this house and have all these grand ideas of what they can do. But then, they move in and then they're like, wait a minute, I can't do this. I can't do that, So it looks good from afar. And then as they start getting, deeper into that relationship with their house, it's like they start getting soured a little bit by things that they couldn't really see before. So we want to come in and renovate it and make people fall back in love with their house because they bought it for a reason, whether it's the location, the yard, it's near family, whatever the reason is, we want to change that house so that they fall back in love with it how they always envisioned it might be, because people know what they like, but they don't exactly know how to put all that together. So that's where we come in and help them with that.
So Paul came up with the name Renovation Rekindle. So that's the title of the show. And season 1 is out. We're in the middle of filming season 2, but you can download it. It's on an app. It's in all the app stores. It's just called Renovation Rekindle, and it has the whole season 1 is out. Season 2 will be coming out in the fall. And there's 10 individual projects on the app.
And they're all our actual clients.
Yes.
They weren't like cast. We're like, do you want to be on the show? And they're like, sure. So it was interesting to, be in those moments with them. It was very unexpected, emotional roller coaster going through with them, trying to get these houses and projects done, and then to be there with the reveal is a very powerful moment to be standing there with them when they get to see their house for the first time, how they've kind of always envisioned it.
How do the clients feel overall about being filmed, being on the show, like that whole process?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the clients at the beginning, because they are our actual clients, they were a little, kind of nervous about it, and because there is a certain point in the project where we have to kind of lock them out so they can't see it. So I think there's, a little bit of anxiety about kind of the unknown, but, I will say at every single reveal when they come in, it's like a kid at Christmas, right? It's been very rewarding to kind of, be in the room with people and be there with them as they're experiencing their house for the first time. So it's, it's a little bit nerve-wracking at the beginning, but in the end, it's definitely worth it.
I mean, they worry just like everybody else. That's why they don't do video. They don't want to feel or look stupid on video, right? That's why most people don't get out of the gate with it. Like, I don't like myself on video. Well, why? Because I don't like how I sound, how I look. Something that might trigger them to feel insecure about being on video. So that's probably why I'm more outgoing on the video, because hopefully it makes things easier for the people that are on video with us, in that sense, where they can kind of let loose and just enjoy the process. We're not going to make them look, any sort of like they're unintelligent or anything, because that's not the point of it, right? So people get worried about that, but I think after they do that first round, they're like, okay, this isn't that bad, and they get excited about their project.
It's kind of cool to see how this has changed in the last 20 years or so. I remember maybe 15 years ago, that show on ABC where they'd have to bus, like blocking the new house that they built. And, that was, you're talking about like ABC's producing that. Now, like anyone that's running a good business that has a good story to tell can go out and like recreate that same thing and distribute it to millions of people.
Yeah, totally. I mean, social media. I mean, I remember when I first started in real estate 20 years ago. I mean, we were, putting our ads out in the paper and putting out newspaper ads, and, everything has just changed so quickly. And I think the difference today is that people want to know who they're doing business with. They want to know who you are before they call you. They want to know, am I a good fit with this company, right? So like putting your things out there, putting your stories out there, people know before they call you, because if they watch our stuff and they're like, it's not my cup of tea, they're not going to call us, right? So it's different for us because the people who are calling us already, kind of know what we're about and know what they're getting into. And the people who are calling, they feel like they know what to expect.
Well,
so it's a different kind of thing.
I'd love to get y'all's take on where this market is going on a couple of different fronts, right? First, just on new construction and home prices, right? Because we're seeing this dynamic where interest rates are higher, so you would think people have less, money to spend on a house, but yet we're like 6 million homes short in the U.S. Supply chain is destroyed, labor market is tough, so it's very hard. Like it's hard to imagine building homes at cheaper prices than they are now. And then kind of on the other front, on the agent front, we're starting to see some, we're definitely seeing like the number of transactions going down in several markets, not necessarily prices, but transaction volume. And that's having a huge effect on some of these, call them kind of like fintech kind of real estate companies like Compass, Redfin, right? Both of those companies just laid off hundreds of people yesterday. So where do you think we're going on just like the market and new construction? Where do you think we're going on the agent market?
So on the new construction front, it's tough because there are fewer buyers in the marketplace as the interest rates go up. I think, for us when we started building, the market wasn't this crazy market that it's been in the past couple of years. And what we've always done is try to make our houses, a little bit better and make them stand out a little bit more, just like you would in any market. If your house is a little bit better for the same price, it's going to stand out. Supply prices are, they're still going up. So, so the cost to build is going to be there. And, hopefully the market will continue to support that. Otherwise, builders are going to stop building just like they did during the housing recession. Because if it comes to a point where the cost to build is more, if you're in a negative equity position, builders will just stop building. They just won't continue to do that, right? Which will further contribute to the supply shortage and continue with that problem. As far as from the agent side, we're telling our agents, it's funny because I talk to a lot of agents who maybe haven't been in that long, and they're like, oh my goodness, my listing has been in the market for 20 days. Like, what do I do?
I've been on for a weekend and I haven't gotten anything yet.
I only got 3 offers.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, in our market, we're seeing listing inventories up 20%. Year-to-date close is down about 8%. So, so you've got more houses in the market. You've got fewer houses selling. And what that means is that stuff's going to stay in the market longer. You have to know how to, how to provide that client service, how to continue. It's no longer a 3-day, 4-day relationship with your seller. It's ongoing. When I first got into the business, one thing I was always told was you need to talk to your clients constantly, even if it's not about, even if it's not about their particular house. You just need to be in communication with them. You need to let them know what's happening. And we have something that we give all of our agents, that if a house is on the market for more than a week, you're giving your seller data on what else is on the market, what's your competition, what has gone under agreement in the last week, right? If everybody else is going under agreement and we're not, maybe we need to make a little adjustment. How many showings have you had? You want to see one offer for every 8 to 10 showings. If you're getting, if you have 14 showings and no offers, you probably need to make an adjustment. You also want to see 1 to 2 showings a week. If you go for a month and you only have 1 showing, you're probably priced too high. If you're getting, if you're not getting that pattern of activity, that's the market telling you, hey, it's not being well received. You probably need to make an adjustment. So just, watching those indicators. And, I've been in for 20 years. So going through the Great Recession and watching sellers try to chase the home prices down and watching people lose money by the day, it really makes you pay attention to that stuff. And I think, even though I don't think we're looking at a change that's going to be that dramatic, it's going to feel that dramatic to the sellers, I think.
Hey, hold that thought for a minute. Do you want to take your real estate business to the next level? If you do, there's no reason to go it alone. Learn from people who've been where you want to go. Carrie and I have sold billions of dollars in real estate. We've netted over 7 figures for 7 years in a row now, and we want to see if you would be a good fit to work for us. We don't work with a lot of people, but we want to give you a chance to get on a free strategy call to see if we can help you get your business to the next level. Go to hyperfastcoach.com and apply for your discovery session today. Again, that's hyperfastcoach.com.
Yeah. I mean, even if you go from 10% appreciation a year or higher to 1 or 2% or to 0, that's a different market. And I think sellers need to have different expectations or will, and agents need to be better at setting those and getting back to the basics. Like all the stuff you mentioned is just stuff we would have all been doing 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Totally. Yeah. Like calling for feedback. I told my agents, I said, listing agents don't call you back right now. They're going to start calling you back, right? They're going to start returning your phone calls. They're going to start answering your questions.
I mean, before it's so busy, right? Like the market's so busy. Agents are busy. People are trying to find houses. They're just trying to get a house, people. So it's like the fact that they can just try to maybe get one, they're happy about that. But now, you know, when it's so fast in that fast pace, stuff's just trying to get done as quickly as it can. Now that pace is slowing down,
Right.
now the fine-tuned details and the experienced and the seasoned agents are going to come into play when it comes into negotiations and, you know, selling the houses and, you know, who do you want to represent and, you know, all those pieces, right? Because there's a lot of agents that have not experienced those things. They've only been in a very positive market. And now it's like, whoa, what do I do? Send my carrier pigeon over to make an offer. You know, it's like go back to the old school way. You know?
Right. It's going to be a lot more negotiations, a lot
Right.
more home inspection issues, a lot more, you know, things that they wouldn't think of asking for a year ago. You know, now, you know, more buyers are going to feel empowered to, you know, come back with those things.
That's a dynamic shift in the market of selling and buying, I guess, right? So the buyers might have a little more leverage in terms of what they're getting now. They have choices, which they didn't before. It was like, I just need to get something. Now there's going to be more choices for them. And now as an agent, that's where your experience comes in to help find that choice that fits them best.
So the new normal is going back to the old normal, is what it sounds
Yeah,
like you're saying.
basically, yeah, it's funny. I'm pulling things out from years ago and I'm like, guys, look, I'm pulling this out. And they're looking at me like I'm crazy. You know, just all that, like you said, back to the basics.
It's like social media. You know how it changes so much? And it's back to the basics, right? Social media changes so frequently. Reels, all these different things are constantly evolving and changing, just like the market, right? Then you got to go back to the old school, roll up your sleeves and go to work.
Well, if you're listening to this and you're only used to what's been going on the last year to 2 years, it's time to get back to the basics, right?
Absolutely.
Right. The sales were so good because people were looking to, you know, buy. You know, I had a friend of mine who got into real estate. He's not anymore, and it was a very short career for him because he sold a couple houses. Then he was like, I don't need a broker. And I was like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. I was like, trust me, like we say to our agents, like the easiest thing you did was take your test, right? From now, this is where the hard work comes in, you know. And we always talk about how deceiving it is too. Like when you do get a license, how, you know, you can get it so quickly. So it just looks like it's so easy to do, but real estate is very hard to do. And it's a lot of hard work and grinding it out and that continuing follow up and staying in touch and remembering to do that and keeping in touch with your clients and all that stuff. So it's just funny because a lot of the people that are just selling by nature because of the market, that's going to change. So it's going to be more like, wait, I got to call them. They're not going to call me. Oh, yeah, you do. You know, pick that phone up, make those calls.
Well, it's been amazing having you two on the show. I always like to wrap up with a hyper-fast round if you are ready for some rapid-fire Q&A.
I was ready 5 minutes ago. Let's go.
All right.
Boom.
I'm going to be slower with the answers, but go ahead. Paul will probably be faster than me.
What's your biggest piece of advice to a new real estate investor?
Know your numbers. Run your numbers up and down. And one thing I always do when we're going to invest is I always take a look at the numbers and say, okay, if the market drops 10%, are we still okay? If the answer is yes, then it's a yes. If the market doesn't drop, if the market drops 10% and your numbers don't work, you might want to think about it.
Right. The math is real. Pay attention to the math. Don't get emotionally attached to the project. Look at the numbers.
All right. What's your biggest piece of advice to a new real estate agent?
Roll up your sleeves. Be ready. It's not, it's not easy.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And, it's consistency and creating a schedule and, and doing the activities that you need to do day after day to build your business. You're building a business from scratch, and no business survives without clients. So you've got to work on generating clients.
Persevere.
What's the biggest challenge you've had in real estate, and how did you overcome it, or what lesson did you learn from it?
The biggest challenge, I would say definitely selling through the recession for sure. That was a different market, and that really taught me to be quicker about how to read the market, how to react to the market, and how to advise clients. So watching those showing patterns, watching what's happening around, and really paying attention to those signs, because when markets change, they change facts. They change really fast.
Be good at your job, do your best to learn the craft and learn about it and really represent your client the best that you can. You know, it's sometimes I'm like, where did they get this square footage from? This is not even close. You know, it's like guessed. Like, I think it's like this, you know, it's like, so there's a lot of like little things like that are always like, I'm like, be better than that. You know what I mean? Like, be thorough, like do your job. That's how you're going to really build your business brand, and pay attention to those little details. Like, and if you don't know, ask someone. You know, there's a lot of people with experience that do it, but it's just like, don't let all that little stuff fall through the cracks. Like, really, you know, dial into it and show your passion to people about it, you know?
When you're not working on the business or on real estate, what are you most likely doing?
Working, typically. Yeah, we work a lot.
Reading. Yeah, we do have kids, so hang out with the kids.
She's a reader. Yeah, she's a reader. I'm a video watcher, so I'll watch videos on certain topics and things I want to watch. She reads books. But no, we like to go away, like people do, go and hang out with our kids. We like to do fun things with our kids. You know, it's a very bland answer. So
we're very boring. I'm so sorry.
I know. I wish I had such a better answer for you. Like, I was like climbing Himalayan mountains or something, you know, in my spare time, putting it on Instagram, but
maybe next time.
Not the case.
All right, last one. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
10 years from now. You made Paul speechless.
Well, no, I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking.
I think he's mentally on an island right now, since you just said that.
Well, 10 years from now, I mean, you know, the whole point of your business is to, you know, you invest time in the beginning to get time back at the end, right? So you're essentially putting all this time in because maybe you don't have a lot of money, and that's what you do have to give. And then eventually you hope to flip that and put in less money and get more time, you know? So I feel like
and really building out our teams, building out, you know, building.
Oh, it's already
out the
built at that point. 10 years, it's already built. Yeah. I'm way past the build thing. We're already built at that point, you know, 10 years. I'm going to be in the Maldives hanging out, you know, maybe doing some deals from there.
That's where I thought you'd be.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're not covered in water by then, though, right?
It's a solid point, you know, solid point.
Well, you just have to switch it up to Fiji, because they got the mountains there.
Bora Bora, Fiji. Yeah. I would love to go to.
We can pivot. We can do that.
That's the most important thing. People remember to pivot. Things change. It doesn't always stay the same. You got to remember to pivot when it comes, you know, make that juke, you know, don't fall down.
All right. Well, before we sign off, this has been an amazing show, and you know, your story and what you're doing with the show has been incredible, and just integrating so many different parts of real estate. If people want to find the show or connect with you or any of that good stuff, how should they do that?
So the show is called Renovation Rekindle. That can be downloaded on any app store. The app is called Renovation Rekindle. Has a whole season 1 on there, 10 episodes. And then on social media, our handle is Kadilak Homes, and it's Kadilak with 2 Ks. And that's on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, all that.
Yes, it gets misspelled in my eyes wrong constantly, but it's Kadilak, which is, I think, the right way we spell it, right? So it's at Kadilak Homes, but that's pretty much where you can find us anywhere, and it encompasses all the stuff that we do. And we appreciate you having us on and having a conversation about, you know, what's going on with the market, right? How's the market? It's always the question.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. To all of our listeners and viewers, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check out the Renovation Rekindle app and the first 10 episodes of season 1, and share this episode with other people that you think would benefit from hearing this amazing story. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure and go to hyperfastagent.com to learn about upcoming in-person and online events. And don't forget to share this show with someone that you think could benefit from hearing it, and make sure you subscribe on YouTube or anywhere that you can find podcasts.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Hyperfast Show. Subscribe to us if you want to make sure you get the latest and greatest Hyperfast shows. And remember, we love reviews. Reviews help us bring better and better guests and improve our shows. So give us the good, the bad, and the ugly. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking around to the end. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you want to see more, click right here. And if you want 100 real estate tips from my best-selling book, click right here to download them instantly. And if you're new to this channel,
Click below to subscribe.